probably, most likely. MS1,
Ask one?
the MS1,
Oh, MF,
town inventory. It's town worth,
yep,
okay?
yep. Yes,
Look under utilities.
that's only for the electrical.
No, there's a water line there. There is a specific line under utilities that says water.
I didn't see
It
that.
has never in the history of this town has that water department been listed as a utility to the city.
Okay, this brings up a point that I want to address, because you talked about the audits and everything, all right? My focus on the audits addresses this very issue, okay? Back when the warrant article that you asked about, will the town vote to raise and appropriate $850,000?
Wait, 850,000?
Yep, $850,000 to be raised from either grant funds or a low-interest loan. No amount to be raised from taxation, but up to $850,000 to be paid for by the people of the waterworks. Okay? Total amount of money with the intention, according to that statement, none of which to come from taxation, all of which to come from grants or other funds or a low interest loan. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Right now, I'll just tell you, Judy Brady just wrote a check on this low interest loan just last week. On $7,000 every 6 months, we pay $6,586 in interest. Does that sound like a low interest loan to you? We pay almost 80%
We shouldn't be paying
over
any
the course
interest.
of
The first, that was in 2009 or 2005?
it's a bond.
Right, and so why wouldn't we have paid all that interest ahead, first, and then you, like your home, you're paying, you pay a little towards the principal.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to, that's a valid question, and I'm gonna go back to the paperwork that I received from Selectman Bresnahan regarding the town report, okay? And the
What year?
article,
Okay. What year are you working out of? What town report?
This is the one from the meeting.
this is the town report, Article 4, and this goes back to Annual Report 2006.
Okay,
Okay, now Sean's explanation of this was, okay, at the meeting, the selectman's explanation of this was that when you submit a warrant article like this, what you do is, without having all of the contracts and all that other, you come up with an estimate of what it's gonna be. You submit it to the town as an appropriation. We're gonna estimate, okay? And so the estimate of this was to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $850,000 for engineering, construction, and related services to replace the water mains, improve the access road to the water tank, repair the water storage tank, and install water meters for each water user. This sum to be funded by state and federal grants or low-interest loans paid fully by the users of the Hill Waterworks system. No money to be raised by taxation, 2/3 ballot. This passed 107 to 8.
8,
Okay, now, as a result of these loans, when these loans were applied for and then eventually received, the amount that was reported was a loan in the amount of $485,000, with $325,000 to come from grant funds. That was so everybody would buy into the concept that we're over $750,000, but then when you look at the rest of the report and you see that it's negative $861,000 in equity. In order to have negative equity in that amount, it means that $325,000 is not grant funds. The following year, it reports the loans of the $485,000 plus the $325,000. Even though the previous year it was reported as grant funds, it was not grant funds. It was loan funds. And again, those loan funds to be paid back 100% by the people on the water system. Now you're talking over $750,000 of money to go into the system, okay? Now, $41,000 for engineering, and I have here again the reports. Even though the warrant article says up to $850,000, by 2009, when the loans were all done, the amount appropriated for this was $1.1 million.
Where the hell did that money come from?
A greater question, where the hell did that money go?
Where'd it go?
Because it wasn't reported as equity. Okay, it wasn't reported as, now, Judy ran me the report for this afternoon.
You get 1.1 to begin with.
$1.1 million is all of the money that was applied for, received, and appropriated to these contracts. Okay? You have to take that 1.1.
So the 485 and the 225 wasn't part of the 850.
No, that is part of the 850, yes. But 325,000 of it was not grant funds.
Okay,
It
so
was all
how did you-
loans.
How did you come to 1.1 if you had 485,000 and 325,000 that weren't grant funds? You'd have to add up all of them to get over 1.1.
So reported in the town report in 2010 is the 2009 USDA Rural District Bond, okay, of 2009 is $485,000. $349,000 of that is interest on that $485,000. Okay?
Okay.
That equals $834,000 with the long-term, so the total number of assets includes the 2006 revolving state fund for $232,859. Okay? That currently exists, $167,000 in principal with $65,167 in interest. The long-term liabilities, as reported on the 2010 report, is $1,066,948, almost $1.1 million in long-term liabilities to be paid for by the people of the waterworks.
Well, I want to add a caveat, and not a caveat, but one of my questions that arose from this, from the many. These loans were supposedly for the waterworks. I don't know about you, but you can't go get a loan unless you have an asset, okay?
Well,
So in other words, you go buy a car, you're using that as the asset for the collateral.
I know, but the town worked,
Where's that collateral? What does the waterworks own?
but they weren't,
So how are the loans in the waterworks name, is what I'm asking. How did the waterworks take out these loans with no collateral? There is nothing. According to the town owns them.
because the town is the guarantor, and.
You can't commingle. It's against the law. You can't commingle.
Then how could you have, how could you even have a water department?
Shelley's words were, because it's always been done that way. And how many times do we hear that? You sat right here with her
Yes.
and heard it all.
All right, it's a valid point, but let's not get too far off track. What I want to bring you back to is, someone may ask, why are you looking into these numbers now?
Yeah.
Right? In 2010, when it's reported that we have, okay, again, in 2010, what is reported is, of your total liabilities, we have $665,000 in negative equity. We have net income of negative $386. So that's just over.
386,000?
386,000. So that's just over $1 million. And there is what is considered retained earnings in the amount of $103,000 to the positive. Your $103,000 is deducted from your negative assets, from your negative liabilities, right?
Yep.
And that gives you your net negative liabilities, okay? Now that's like saying, I just went out and bought a new car. I paid $40,000 for it. I have $39,900 on it. I have $100 in positive equity, and I have negative $39,900 in equity, right? These represent in 2010 what the existing loans and stuff were. Here, in 2024, today, as of today, the May 31 reports, okay, the total equity of the system is $134,000. The retained earnings is $172,000 with a net income of negative $5,321. We're missing the total amount that the customers of the water system have paid back in equity in the water system. The total amount of money that you guys have all paid back on these loans and principals from 2010 to 2024, okay? So in 14 years, all the money you've paid back is not reported as equity. And this is where I come in.
Why wouldn't it be? Why would it?
Why wouldn't it be?
No, why would it be reported as equity?
Why would it be equity if you are paying the loan back?
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be reported as equity if you're paying the loan back?
What's your definition of equity?
Equity is profit is amount you have gained in the positive column. Okay? It's no longer what you owe.
Yeah, but it's no longer debt. We're paying on a debt.
Correct.